Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. We are 4 students from the Oxford University Islamic Society, and we're here to talk to you about Freshers Week. This, inshallah, will be the first video in a series of videos that we're going to be producing to demystify what Oxford's all about and to give an insight into what our experiences have been at the university. Inshallah, in less than a month's time, we're going to be welcoming the new freshers who are scheduled to start at the beginning of October. And yeah, I'll get everyone to introduce ourselves now, or introduce themselves.
So, Assalamu alaikum everyone, I'm Aisha. I'm a psychologist at Brasenose College and the current Female Welfare and Social Officer of the Islamic Society.
Assalamu alaikum everyone, I'm Farabi, studying engineering at Mansfield. I'm the Brothers Welfare Officer for this year, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum everyone, I'm Fatima. I'm a D4 student at Exeter College in cybersecurity, and I'm the graduate welfare officer this year.
I just realized they're all welfare officers and I'm not the only one that's not. But anyway, my name is Ibrahim. I'm a philosophy, politics and economics or PPE student at New College. And I'm the Islamic awareness officer at the Islamic Society, which basically means making it, I guess, as easy as possible for non-Muslims to learn about Islam at the university. So before anything else, I think for anyone who hasn't heard of what the Islamic Society is, we might cover what the isoc is. The isoc is an abbreviation for the Islamic Society, by the way. So I think I'll speak briefly, and if I miss anything, you guys just jump in and tell me. But in my eyes, at least, it's a place, a student community, and a physical space, actually, because we have a prayer room. But it's a student community for Muslims at Oxford University to get to know other Muslims, to enjoy themselves, and to learn about their religion. Anyone got anything else, or have I covered it all?
No, it's pretty comprehensive, I think.
Love it. All right. Okay. So what is Freshers Week, guys? Because I didn't know what Freshers Week was when I joined the university. And I literally learned off the posters and a bit of Googling. So can someone tell them what Freshers Week is?
Yeah, so Freshers Week is a common thing across the UK, I think. And it's the week before term starts when freshers will move into university. In Oxford, you'll have lots of college events across the course of the week. And isoc as well runs its own timetable in Freshers Week. And also we have a Freshers Fortnight, so it leads into the second week as well. And it's basically just a week of, you know, adjusting to life at Oxford, adjusting to your room and to everything. And yeah, it's just about settling in and meeting people, really.
Nice. Okay. So I think we're going to go into it now. I'm going to put the intros and my voice. What are some of the events that are put on during Freshers Week at the university? Yeah, I guess I'll start off because everyone's feeling a bit nervous today. Firstly, the first thing you should kind of take note of is the Freshers Fair. A Freshers Fair is basically somewhere where all the different societies at the university, all the different employers and stuff come together and they pitch to you what they're all about. So for example, the Islamic Society is one of the names on the team sheet as such. And so we'll be at the Freshers Fair, we'll be telling people about what we do, who we are, and people have the opportunity to join the society. In our case, it's just like putting an email down, but in the cases of lots of other societies, it can be a paid membership, it can be kind of something completely different or whatever. But yeah, other than that, the college has put on all sorts of different events. The university also has lots of different events. They might be sport events, kind of drama events, get to know people events, dinners with people like that are in your immediate vicinity at your college. There's literally all sorts going on during the week. It's pretty jam-packed, to be honest. I know I should find it really exciting as soon as she came, when she's the sort of person that like, go on.
So I think everyone's experience of Freshers Week will be slightly different. Largely also because every college's timetable is slightly different. So Brasenose, the college that I'm at, to be honest, most of their events were purely alcohol based. So I couldn't go to a lot of them, but because of isoc's timetable alongside of it, I felt I was always busy because I was jumping between the like small little gathering of non-alcoholic events that they did each day. I would like run between those and isoc events, and I found myself really busy. And for me, I really enjoyed that. Yeah, but it is worth mentioning that every college will have a different timetable. Some colleges, like this might be wrong, so don't quote me on any of this, but I believe Pembroke had really big non-alcoholic events and had lots of variety in their freshers timetable. Whereas when I compare it to Brasenose, which I do really like the college and everything, but their Freshers Week timetable last year, 2019 Freshers Week, was pretty much all alcohol based. So it will vary depending on colleges. Yeah. But also, on top of that, you will have, at least in my college, subject dinners where the older years in your subjects, so for me, psychology, the second and third years, they took us out for dinner. I mean, we still paid for ourselves, but, you know, we went to dinner organized by them. And we also had a college family dinner where your parents or my parents, we had dinner cooked by them. Yeah, so everything, I don't know if that's the same with you guys in your colleges. Did you have that?
A similar story when it comes to the events. They are mostly alcohol based, but like a secret, you don't actually have to go to any college events. You can literally skip all of them. Maybe go to the one that's your undergraduate welcome dinner, which is the one I went to. But other than that,
some are compulsory. To be fair, I don't want you to get in trouble as soon as you come.
Yeah, some are compulsory. Go to that, but the ones that aren't, you like legit don't have to go to. It's not gonna be like a mark against you or anything. So I decided to not go because they were alcohol based. I didn't think I'd enjoy it or fit in. And alhamdulillah, the ISOC had events throughout the whole week and the week after. And that's where I made most of the friends that I have right now. And that's where I really found my place and found myself being comfortable in Oxford.
Yeah, I guess that's a really interesting point. Oh, go on, Fatma. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say it's quite similar for grads as well. One thing to note is that in most colleges, grad freshers and undergrad freshers will have their events separately. So they'll have separate timetables. But it's similar with the grads as well. Generally, they'll be alcohol based, but again, most of these events will have non-alcoholic options, or they'll have so you will find people who aren't drinking along with you. You won't be the only ones. But yeah, I found myself in a similar situation where I went to some of the initial college events, and then I found that it didn't really suit me as much. And then I went to a lot more ISOC events throughout the rest of the week, and I found that I was a lot more comfortable there.
Yeah, I feel like that's an experience that a lot of people have. But all of you have raised a really good point about alcohol. Because for me personally, before I came to the university, as little as I had heard about Freshers Week, the one thing I did know was that everyone drinks, everyone goes clubbing, everyone goes partying, and that's all that happens during Freshers Week. And I was so worried about it. And my parents were like, how are you going to deal with Freshers Week? Are you going to go? Are you not going to go? No, stay home. You're not allowed to go to Freshers Week. And then it took ages to convince them that I should be going to Freshers Week because I had to get to know everyone. But I think one thing to note is that, like Aisha said, and like the other two have said as well, the amount of alcohol at events does vary depending on your college, does vary depending on the day. So at my college, which is New College, which I'm going to plug because it's the best college, there were plenty of non-alcoholic events. Aisha's already said brazenness is crap, so you can take that out. But at my college, we had a full non-alcoholic timetable, created by the people that were running Freshers Week there, which made things a lot easier because, I thought I would be going in and it would just be Muslims that weren't drinking, and if you were either drinking or you were a Muslim. And then I realized that there was this nice sweet spot of people that weren't Muslim and didn't drink as well. And so even though there weren't that many Muslims at my college, there were a lot of people that didn't drink. And because of that, there were the events set up, we had pizza, there were movie nights, we went ice skating, all that kind of thing happened during Freshers Week.
At Brasenose, I remember, and this will probably be the case at a lot of colleges as well, on Monday we had collection cocktails, I think they were, which is where everyone goes into the room, and some ideas of it were really cool. Apparently everyone got a name, and you had to find the other person with the person whose name you had, and get chatting and stuff like that. I didn't go because it was collection cocktails, it's not really for me. And instead I went to the non-alcoholic alternative they had that day, which was one of the only alternatives they had the whole week. And it was a games night in the JCR, and I walked in with one of my friends who's on my course, and she doesn't drink either. And it was there was just a group of second years, third years, fresher helpers who had clearly sort of pulled the short straw, and they were just sat there, and then we walked in, and it was we have to actually host this event. So it did feel a bit lame, to be honest. And then a little while later, a few people showed up, but I think there will almost definitely be people in your college who don't drink as well, but you might find it harder to meet them in Freshers Week because, like myself and like all of you guys, they'll be less hesitant to go to the alcoholic events, but they also might be more hesitant to go to the non-alcoholic events, if there are any as well, just because of the awkwardness of settling in and stuff like that and meeting people. So even if you don't meet people instantly in Freshers Week and don't instantly click with the people that you do meet, inshallah, you will find your people in college. And don't like give up on college completely either, because every year, you know, they're working on it and getting better. So yeah.
No, that's a super important point, because you almost forget, because you're so anxious about starting Freshers Week, that everyone else is in the same position as you are.
Yeah.
Like everyone else is moving out, everyone else is like surrounded by so many new people. Suddenly they don't know the city they're in, they don't know anything about where they're at. They're starting a course, they're starting university. The life's basically just changing in the most drastic way. And it's easy for you to assume right at the beginning, because there are so many changes happening to you. It's easy, for you to forget that everyone else is going through that. And different people cope with that in different ways. So some people are more quiet at the beginning. That's why I was like, I'm generally a very noisy, talkative, loud individual. But during Freshers Week, I was quite quiet at the college and like kind of hesitant. Other people deal with those nerves by drinking. And so like, at least this is what I experienced. After Freshers Week, things started to calm down with the drinking. Like there was like a massive drinking thing during Freshers Week at my college, at least. But then afterwards, everyone kind of calmed down a bit, and it was really easy to get to know everyone after a week or two once they'd started settling in as well. So yeah. I don't know, Fabi, what did you think of that? What were your experiences post Freshers Week with drinking and stuff?
I think one thing to highlight is like you're not going to be forced to go to these events that are drinking heavy or clubbing heavy or party heavy that we don't really would tend to go to. People are really understanding of your boundaries and what you do and what you don't do. And like just simply saying to someone at college, I don't want to drink, or I don't really want to go to that bop or that party, they're fully understanding of that. They're not going to like ridicule you or laugh at you. So I think a lot of people might have that fear of, oh, I'm not going to be able to fit in, or I'm going to get laughed at because I don't go to everything they go to. But like, alhamdulillah, that's not how it is. And also feeling that you're missing out. There are so many events that the ISOC puts on during that time that if you feel you can't go to any college events, the ISOC has those events for you. So it's not even you're missing out, you're actually taking part, but in stuff that you can engage in yourself with.
And also I just wanted to add, this isn't something sorry, I don't want to interrupt, this will be really quick. This isn't something that I personally experienced, but I know from speaking to other people that other people have. And you also shouldn't feel ashamed of saying that, oh, I don't drink, you know. It is slightly more obvious for me, you know, being in a hijab and stuff like that. But when people aren't and they're asked like, oh, do you want to go out? Like, we're going to this bar, or we're going to the pub, or we're going like clubbing or something. Do you want to come? You don't need to think of another alternative excuse. You can also just say, oh, I don't drink, but like have fun and I'll come out with you guys somewhere else next time and stuff. And just be confident in that as well. And that will, you know, help you to build connections rather than just make people feel like you're avoiding them and stuff as well. Because not everyone will instantly know that you won't drink. I was quite surprised at the lack of knowledge to do with Islam and stuff with college mates. So yeah, don't be ashamed of that either, and let that like affect your connections. But yeah, sorry.
Yeah, just before Fatima comes in my opinion, I think people respected me more because I kind of put those boundaries in quite early on.
Yeah.
So at the beginning, everyone was like, oh, let's drink and whatever. And everyone was like, yeah, let's do it. And for me, it was like, no, actually, I don't drink. And so people got a really good idea of what I was about and the boundaries that I set, and the fact that Islam played quite a big role in my life. And they learned to respect that over the coming weeks. And so I no longer was asked, hey, come clubbing. But it would be, hey, do you want to go to the restaurant? Because I know you don't drink. So if you're kind of confident with that, then people will start to respect you. That's the vibe that I got from university, at least. But sorry, Fatma, you were waiting.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with Ibrahim. I just wanted to point out that generally speaking, with the graduate community, the pressure to drink is a little bit less, mainly because you have larger groups of people that don't drink. So there is less pressure for you to participate in all the drinking activities, and people are much more like, they won't even question you if you're not going to join in the drinking activities. So yeah, I will say that if the undergrads do feel pressured, it isn't anything too bad. As long as you say that I'm not comfortable with drinking, or I don't drink, or whatever, then they won't force you to join anything.
Yeah, I mean, like the graduates are probably veterans as well. They've done this before. Like I've seen all of this freshers nonsense happen before. I've learned to deal with it.
Yeah, I think no offense to you lot, but they've matured out at that stage.
Wow. All right. Thanks, Fatima, for dissing the rest of us. But yeah, something that's also come up that I wanted to highlight. By the way, actually, I'll interrupt myself. We're going to be talking, like, you might be wondering, what does the Islamic Society do during Freshers Week? We're going to have the second half of the video literally dedicated to that. So if you're wondering, like, don't worry, it's coming up. We're just saving it up. Best to last and all that. But for now, we're just kind of trying to focus on how does a Muslim fit into the wider community at the university, at the college, during Freshers Week. So we've covered drinking, we've covered the type of events that people do. But I think we'd probably move on to kind of moving out and the struggles that might come with moving out, accommodation, how it works, moving in right at the beginning, like a completely different setting, scenario. What were your experiences with that? Fatma?
So for me, it was, so my undergrad, I was at home. So I stayed at home with my family. So it was my first time moving out, and it was like a huge jump for me. I think I was a lot more nervous than I thought I would be, in the sense that yeah, like I'd never had to pay my own bills or organize, you know, like moving to Oxford and everything like that. So it was quite nerve-wracking, but you have so much going on during Freshers Week and all these events that it occupies your time, and then you stop thinking about how stressed you are or how homesick you are. So yeah, definitely take advantage of the events during Freshers Week, because they will help you to settle in a little bit quicker into Oxford and get over your homesickness. But other than that, like just we live in a time where we can like easily chat with our family wherever they are now. So it's take advantage of technologies you have.
I want to say your college is actually really helpful when it comes to settling in. Like, this is for most people the first time that you actually go away for an extended period of time, and you're bound to like make mistakes when it comes to money or when it comes to what you need to buy or like your room. But like the good thing about the way the Oxford is structured is you have your college to like fall back on and ask for advice, and you have like literally everyone that the staff at your college to help you out, give you advice. And I think that's what's really good about moving out for Oxford, especially, is the like the safety net that we have here. So it shouldn't be something that holds you back or worries you, and that's like something for parents to think about as well. It's not something that should hold you back or you should be afraid of when moving to Oxford.
Yeah, that's true. I will say that colleges are more than happy to like cater to your needs. If you have any
definitely.
problems that come during the week you're moving in and stuff, then they're really quick at responding to you. So take advantage of that as well.
Like a good example is for us, we might require ensuite facilities to make wudu, right? I requested that for my second year accommodation and they gave it to me. So like they're more than happy to accommodate for your needs wherever they can. So one thing is to ask, but also have the confidence to ask and know that they are there to help you, to make your lives easier for you.
Yeah. I was wondering, did anyone find it difficult to convince their parents to live out?
Nah, I think I'm a unique case because my parents like wanted me to move because they don't like me or anything. No, I think it's because it's Oxford, so they wouldn't have wanted anywhere else for me to go. But like I think I'm probably a unique case in that they were happy for me to go.
Yeah, it was a little bit. Sorry, go ahead, Aisha.
Okay. For me, I wouldn't have lived out if I hadn't got into Oxford. Mainly because I would have just probably gone to a London one, which are really close and stuff. But it's the Oxford thing, you know. It helps convince parents in itself. You're saying like, but I have to. It's Oxford. It has the collegiate system, stuff like that. And also my brother's also here, so my parents were a lot more chill about me moving because I wasn't just moving into a city completely by myself. My brother's also at Keble, so that helped again. So that's probably also a unique case, but yeah.
Yeah, I think I was a unique case in the sense that my parents convinced me that I had to move out as well. So again, like Aisha said, the Oxford thing helps a lot, but I didn't have any problems with my parents. I think my mum was slightly nervous for me to live out at the same time, and my younger sister was also moving out at the same time as me. So it was a kind of like double the stress for them at that time. But they get used to it along with you during that time. So just frequent chats with them really help.
Yeah, I was probably the non-unique case. My parents were already happy about me moving out. Well, my dad was alright actually. My mum was just hesitant, and like I'm the eldest kid at home, so I was like the first kid to move out, and it took a lot for mum to say yes, but 3 months of trying to persuade her worked at the end of the day. But yeah, I think after that, like it was also really important to just kind of stay in touch with parents and stuff. Like Fatima was talking about earlier on, it's much easier now than it was earlier on to just pick up the phone once a day, a couple of times a week, kind of thing. Whatever works between you and your parents, just to see how they are, because they're probably going to be quite nervous about you moving out too. Yeah, like it was a lot different apparently 30 years ago. I was talking to someone working at my college who went to my college like 30 years ago, and he was like, there was one telephone within the entirety of the block, and everyone would be using that telephone to phone their parents, and so it was literally just queuing up to phone parents when it was during Freshers Week. So alhamdulillah, like we've got a lot better than previous generations. But yeah.
And I will say that chatting with your family and your parents during this time is really helpful, because you have to understand they can have feelings of, you know, their child leaving the nest kind of thing, and so they will have some own stresses of their own. So it's important to talk with them during this time and let them know what you're going through. It just helps them adjust to you being outside of the house now.
Yeah, you might feel like, oh, I'm 18 now, why do I need to keep in contact? But do keep them informed that what you're doing, because it's like a right over that they have over you, right? Just to know how you are, because like the stress that they'd go through, probably don't feel that. So just for your parents' sake, just let them know what you're up to.
Right. Okay. On to the second part of our little video today, and in this part we're going to be talking about what the Islamic Society does during Freshers Week. So I'll literally leave it open. What do you guys think? What were your experiences?
Yeah, so as we mentioned briefly earlier, the Islamic Society runs its own timetable of events, and it has Freshers Fortnight. So we have events running. We have 6 events in week 1, and then about 2 to 3 events in week 2. And that's so that if you can't make all the events in Freshers Week because of college commitments, you can then also attend some of the ones in the second week in Freshers Fortnight, so the first week of term. So for me, my experience of the isoc Freshers Week was really, really positive. I went to the first event. I pretty much went to all of them except pizza and quiz night because I had a college commitment. But yeah, it was really good. I think it was so nice meeting people from like who share the same beliefs and attitudes and values as me, you know, other Muslims, and finding that community so early on. So I definitely recommend attending all isoc events, or as many as you can at least. My favorite event or experience at Freshers was probably, we had mocktails in my Freshers Week, and I really enjoyed that. It really helped me to it just really broke some ice, and it's always one of my favorite events. But yeah, they'll sort of change each year. So this year we're thinking of outdoor stuff along the lines of a scavenger hunt or a games night, speed friending, stuff like that. So nothing set in stone, and every year it will be slightly different. But inshallah, every year there'll be some really good events for you to look forward to, and meet lots of people at different colleges as well, which is a nice thing about the isoc. It really builds your community outside of your college. Yeah.
So for me, my freshers experience was like really enriching. We had loads of events throughout the typical freshers week, and then throughout the first term as well. So events range from paintballing to a pizza and quiz night to G&D's meetup. Sorry, G&D's is a dessert parlor in Oxford. And like it was just such a nice way to meet new brothers. Because you know we're in a new environment, away from home. We have like barely, and most people have no friends at the start. So it's a really nice chance to make new friends, to meet people, and like Oxford's norms might not be the typical norms that you have at home. So to have like a community, brothers that you're with frequently, kind of makes you feel at home, makes you feel comfortable, makes you feel as if you're meant to be there. And so that's what's really like beneficial about the isoc hosting its own set of events during Freshers Week. It allows the Muslim freshers to feel as if they're welcome in Oxford.
And I think
Yeah.
especially during, just before we go to Fatima, that's the case, especially during that first week when, like we said, settling into college might be a bit difficult. So ISOC can really bridge the transition into university. You don't have to be someone that like commits to the Islamic Society further down the line, but it can just help you settle into the university, and then you can go your own way if you want, like if you don't want that kind of commitment.
Yeah, there's no like, you don't have to commit to your whole time at uni. It doesn't have to be ISOC related. That's what's so like beautiful about it, is you can enjoy what you want with the ISOC, and then focus on your degree or whatever other commitments you want to have. And the ISOC's always there to facilitate whatever development you guys want to have, whether that be through your social, through religious, through your emotional. Like it's just like it facilitates whatever kind of building you want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, my freshers experience was pretty much the same. I remember kind of being overwhelmed by how many events there were from college and other societies. And then when I actually got to some of the ISOC events, I found like, oh, this is like where I'm much more comfortable. So again, like Aisha and Farabi, I attended a lot of them, like the pizza and quiz night. And then we have grad specific events as well, like the grads dinner in the first week, and pizza nights or chicken and fried chicken nights in the prayer room. So we have those throughout the year as well for grads who would just like something a little bit quieter. But yeah, again, grads are welcome in all the events, and you can, again, with any ISOC event, you can pick and choose wherever you want to go. It's something that's always there for you, like Farabi said. So you shouldn't feel pressured to attend everything if you're not comfortable with it or if you don't have the time. It's just there for you to take a break from your work and interact with others and educate yourself in your religion or whatever. So yeah.
And also, like Farabi mentioned earlier, ISOC has so many different aspects to it. We have a social side of it, which is a lot of what myself, Farabi and Fatima would run for the grads and undergrads respectively. But then we also have an RE section, so we have lots of religious events, interfaith, community events, so there's lots of different stuff for you to get involved in. In Freshers Week specifically, you'll find that it's almost all socials naturally, but don't let that put you off the ISOC if you're less interested in that side of it and are more interested in the RE, because in later weeks that will really come in. We have mental health talks as well. So there is a big variety, and it will also develop throughout term. So just keep an eye out on the timetable.
Yeah, variety is the big point that I was going to cover if Aisha hadn't brought it up. Because a lot of the time someone doesn't want to commit to a society as a whole, but they have a certain thing that they're really interested in within the society. So for some people that might be the religious background, or attending Friday prayers, or doing that kind of thing, which we host at the prayer room at the university. But for others, that might just be like having Muslims to meet and socialize with and enjoy, outdoor activities, indoor activities with. So yeah, the variety is a big thing. And one of the reasons why we do have variety is just because we have so many events during Freshers Week. Or Freshers Fortnight, as ISOC runs. We run it for 2 weeks, like Aisha was saying before. And yeah, the value of that is very much that the Islamic Society, more so than most other societies, actually has these Freshers events. So alhamdulillah, like most other societies will only have like one event for Freshers, or 2 events maximum. But the Islamic Society goes all out and has like 8, 9 events going on for also different types of people, different variety of different events, like we were saying before. So there's really definitely going to be at least an event for you to go to. And if you're the type that wants to go to everything, then go to everything. On top of that, I think there's another thing to note, and it's that you don't have to join the Islamic Society or start turning up to events during Freshers Week. Like, although we do have, like I said, a really jam-packed, varied schedule of events that we do have. A lot of people don't turn up to any of them, either because they're not feeling it at that time, or they haven't heard of the Islamic Society. And for those people, they just join later on. Like, there'll be events, like Farabi was saying, throughout the term, throughout all 3 terms, in fact, of the year. And often there's another time of the year where lots of people that are freshers tend to join and start becoming more involved in the Islamic Society. And that's Ramadan. So one of the things about the Islamic Society, I won't go into too much detail, is that every evening during Ramadan, there's an iftar So that's where people break their fasts, and everyone comes together in the prayer room, and there's like 150 people crammed into this 20-meter by like 10-meter room, and it's mad. But yeah, like I was saying, anyway, I got a bit off topic, but there's always time for you to start getting involved in the Islamic Society. Like, although we do have the freshers events, there are always events throughout the term for you to enjoy, get involved in, and start getting to know people.
Yeah, like don't feel like you've missed out on your opportunity to join. I've had people say that they feel like they like missed the bandwagon to join ISOC. You can literally just come to any event whenever, and people will be just as welcoming. So
Yeah, and
Yeah,
you
like some of my friends in the
meet.
older years. Go on.
No, I was gonna say you meet new people at every event as well, so never feel like there's everyone's formed their own friendship circles or anything. You meet new people every time you go.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, some of my friends in the older years, they literally joined the Islamic Society in like their third year or the last year of their degree. And although they kind of think to themselves, where have I been all this time with the Islamic Society? They also kind of can integrate really well, and there's always space for people to get to know new people there.
Yeah, don't feel as if the friends that you make in Freshers Week are going to be the only friends you make or your closest friends. Like some of my closest friends are the ones that I made later on in the term or even in the second term. So like you get people that like such a variety of people, you meet them later on and they just become, you just benefit so much from the meeting later on, especially the people that are in older years. You meet them later on, they might like move in later on. So don't feel as if the people that you meet in Freshers Week are like final, that's the friends that you have for 3 or 4 years. Like alhamdulillah, we have a really vibrant and really large society here that you just meet throughout your time.
Yeah, like I think I met Farabi 4 weeks or something after we started at the university. So nothing about Freshers Week, none of that going on. We met like quite a long time afterwards. Other people meet after a year, and yeah, that's just how it happens. Okay, so all right, go on. We'll do one last question on the Islamic Society. What is your favorite freshers memory from the isoc?
Mine was definitely punting on matriculation day in our gowns in the clothes that we wear for matriculation. It was like such a fun day, but also such a stressful day because it was probably like we asked a lady at punting center, and she goes,
For those of you that don't know, I don't want to interrupt probably, but for those of you that don't know, punting's like a boating trip kind of thing. It's like rowing, but it's just more fun.
a big hole.
Yeah. So the lady was saying to us, we literally came on the worst day of the year because it was the like windiest day of the year. So like there's like a really U-turn you have to do in the boat, and if you know anything about rowing, when there's a lot of wind, it's really hard to get your boat to turn. So we were just struggling so much on that turn, and it just basically 3 friends ended up falling into the river, and it was just like I said, the funniest day ever, but also the most stressful day ever. But I definitely recommend you guys to try and go punting if you can, at least once in your degree, in your time at Oxford.
Yeah, and like none of us knew what punting was, how to punt, what a punt was, anything like that when we came. We just came and there was this event going, so we went, and it was one of the best experiences we've had. But yeah, favorite memory, Fatma, Aisha?
Do you want to go?
Yeah, so I had 2 standout events on Freshers Week, and they were both ISOC events. So the first was the pizza and quiz night, and that was when I kind of got introduced to ISOC as a whole. So there were undergrads, grads, everyone there, and it was a whole lot of fun because we were just like in teams and working together. So we had to talk with new people and introduce ourselves. So it was really, really fun. And then we also had the grads freshers dinner, which was a little bit more chill, and there you got to meet a lot more of the grad community. So there were a lot of people there with families, people there who were just working on their postdocs. So there were people from all different backgrounds. And yeah, that was really good as well, getting to know the Muslim community of Oxford a little bit better.
I'm really annoyed that I missed the pizza and quiz night, but I had to go to some tutor's dinner event. I was so annoyed. But for me, my favourite event was, I really enjoyed ice skating, which I think is a pretty common one. And I enjoy ice skating, but it was so fun watching everyone fall on the floor and convincing my friends who weren't getting on the ice to get on the ice and then seeing them flop, to be honest. But that was really fun. I really enjoyed ice skating. It's a good laugh as well, which helps break the ice. at ice skating
God,
a lot.
I can't believe you did that.
And then also mocktails. I really enjoy mocktails. So yeah.
All right, thanks, Aisha. And to kind of rub salt into the wounds, my favorite memory by far was quiz night, the pizza and quiz night that Aisha missed, because like it was on the second day of Freshers Week, right? And I've been frustrated for a whole day or for a whole 2 days about college and not fitting in, and these people just not being the right people around me, and I can't do this, and I wanted to go back and whatever. And then I walked into this room and I hear the South London accent just booming out from somewhere in the room. And I was like, I know I am home. I know I'm home. I'm from London, by the way. But like, I just felt belonging at that point, and just seeing people. And then we prayed Maghrib and everything. And like, at that point, I realized that there was a big connection between my life before uni and my life after uni. And that was my religion. And within the first 2 days of Freshers Week, with everything going on, you can sometimes forget that.
Yeah, I will just say that you don't have to be from London to feel at home at isoc, because there are people from like everywhere. Even though it's mainly Southern dominated, you get Northerners as well, so you'll feel at home.
And international students as
yeah.
well. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. And with that, we'll wrap up. We hope you've been able to get a better idea of what Freshers Week is, how your experiences are like, what the drinking kind of issue entails, moving out and worries about that, and just to get a better idea also of what the ISOC does, the Islamic Society, in terms of trying to ease the transition from before university to after university, with a jam-packed Freshers Week that you should keep your eyes open for very soon on our social medias.